With me is someone who is now being called the Warren Buffett of India. Ajay Piramal is chairman of the Piramal Group, and I don't know if that's an apt description or if you'd agree with me, Mr. Piramal. But after you sold your business in 2010 to Abbott, the pharmaceuticals business, you've been actually investing, right? I mean, you're now an investor. And I think that's the role many now see you in, not as a pharma man, although you still are in that business, but as an investor in a wide range of sectors.
So let me just clarify, yes, we've invested in several sectors, but these are not just investments where we are playing a passive role. In every investment that we've made, we are playing an active role in it. So we believe that we not only invest, but after investing, we try and influence and manage the business.
I mean, in a way, you're running the business as well, at least.
Yes, quite a few.
Helping and sort of very actively. It's not just passive investment.
So we are actively involved in every investment.
Right. But are you an investor now? I mean, how should we understand? What does Ajay Piramal do?
No, I think, as I said, we invest and actively run businesses. So post our sale to Abbott in 2010, we've actually opened up 2 new areas of businesses. Or actually 3. So the one area that we've invested in is in financial services, where we made a significant investment in Shriram. And in addition, we've also got our own loan book and a private equity business. So that's one part of it. Besides that, we are also, we acquired a business in the US, and we invested in it and now run it, which is in information and data and converting really data into knowledge or data into insight. That's the other new area that we've opened up. And the third business, which is not in Piramal Enterprises, which we've actually invested in and started post 2010, has been real estate.
So information and IT and...
it's not IT, it's really collecting data and converting it into insight or information.
Useful information.
So useful, or data. We do analytics on it and then we sell that. So it's not doing a service as in somebody's data you churn out and give it back to them. It's collecting data from all over the world or from different areas. It's only in healthcare. And then making meaningful conclusions which people can use in their business.
So these 2 businesses, the first 2 businesses, are housed in Piramal Enterprises. The real estate business is not, it's separate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So people want to know what else now. I mean, what else is going to sort of...
I think we've now looked at these areas, and I think these are the right areas for us in terms of there is a growth, there's a lot of potential to grow, whether it's financial services, whether it's information, whether it's the pharmaceutical space. Also, we are, I think, in the right geographies. Our mix is right in terms of that. Today, our mix is more skewed in terms of business outside of India than India. But I think now we're investing more in India. So it's in the right geographies. I would say that we have business, of course, in India. But besides that, we have in the US a large stake, as well as Germany and Europe.
You made a terrific, I mean, sorry to use the phrase, a quick buck with Vodafone, right? I mean, that was not a buck, but it was a large, very large investment and very handsome returns over a very short period of time.
Yes, so I think, so that's the sort of thing that we're doing in financial services, where we look at structured investments and where we think that because we can, deploy a reasonable amount of capital, and because we can understand what risk is, and actually that's why it gives us a good return.
No, so will Piramal Enterprises be, I mean, what it is right now, or will it now, I mean, will the shape and what the company is about was going to change? I mean, our new business is going to come under the umbrella of enterprises.
So we are not looking at any other new areas. I think within these areas, by and large, I mean, there could be some small things here and there, but by and large, these are the areas that we are in.
And of course, other investments could be sort of your own investments, which you...
So we don't invest in our own investments, other than, as I said, we have a business in real estate, which is a different company, and we have a business in glass packaging. But I don't think, we don't make private investments. I mean, I think whatever our investments are in the companies.
In the companies, got that. Let's just talk about Davos, and of course, I mean, you come here often, right? I mean, you've been.
So I was just thinking, it's the 19th year that I've come, so it's a veteran now.
So actually, you're the right person to ask. Is it really different this time in terms of the mood and what people are saying about India? I mean, because this is.
So India, the mood at one time was very high in the early 2000 and even in the mid 2000s.
2005, 6, 7.
Yeah, it was India everywhere. I remember the campaign, and there was a lot of interest in India at that time. People wanted to look at India. Last 2 or 3 years, actually, there was no interest. But this year, I find that there's a lot of interest. I'm told that the meetings of the finance minister and all are all chock-a-block, and so I think India is coming back. And if you look at the world, I mean, there are not that many good areas to invest in for global investors, besides, of course, the US, which is doing exceedingly well. It's only India which stands out, because most of the other developing countries, there are some issues or the other. Europe has its own challenges. So.
Yeah, you know, but we, as you said, the early 2000s, lots of interest, mid of 2000, the decade, lot of interest. So, I mean, the slump also coincided with a global slump. You're again in a situation now, US, as you said, is doing well, but other parts of the world are not doing that well. So the question again is, if, in a way, you know, is it possible for India to do very well when the world economy broadly is not?
You know, there's a lot of expectation on India, and I think it's for us to make it work. If we can make it work, then there is a lot that's going for us. But we've seen often in the past that India has done well only to disappoint. I hope that this time it's different and we have a longer run of good performance. If we can do that, I think there's a lot of capital in the world. With all this quantitative easing that has been going on for several years, there's a lot of liquidity, and liquidity wants to find good homes where they can get a good return. We have that opportunity, and I just hope that we don't mess it.
What are you hearing from people that you've spoken to? I mean, about India and what they want to see and hear?
So I think they all are looking at investing in India. Okay. All want to, but they want to see something a little more concrete, like because what? they've been disappointed in the past, so they don't want that to happen. They would like that there is a consistency in whatever we do, and I think that what I hear, the talks and what people in government are speaking, I think this time Prime Minister and his team are very committed to make that happen.
No, what else would people like to see happening? I mean, because
I think you just need to have, frankly, predictability into what we are doing. There must be less red tape, I think.
Which is actually all the things which are happening now, right?
Yeah, so that's what I hope. Also, this whole thing about, you know, retrospective changes or people going after, you know, things that have gone maybe 10 years ago, just reopening those issues should now come to an end. And taxation and all should be clear, simple, people should know.
Yeah. Do you believe the budget needs to be a big one this time?
So, you know, I don't know. We play a lot of importance to the budget, but actually, frankly, we should keep the budget as just one more, like in most other countries. But it doesn't happen in India, I agree. So everybody looks to the budget. So I just hope that this time they make a, you know...
Anything specific you'd like to see happening?
I think it's really that we need to just implement things that we've been talking about, and the budget can be one more thing. But I've seen in the last few weeks after Parliament was... when Parliament session ended, there have been quite a few movements by the government. Let's just move ahead, and we don't have too much time, I think. That's the thing.
Yeah. You think the government needs to play a more active role, not in terms of creating the enabling environment for private investors to come in, but actually become an investor itself, spend? Because, I mean, the growth cycle is kind of broken now. Private sector is spending.
So I think, I really believe that government should spend a little more. I'm also of the view, but I know Prime Minister said no. I think we should relax the deficit a bit and encourage.
Why is the fiscal deficit such a holy cow?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that if we have a little more spending, that'll encourage. That'll just encourage the whole.
But are there any signs of that happening? Because I think the media review, which was put out, the new chief economic advisor spoke about that. Government spending, but then after that we heard comments from Mr. Jaitley.
Yeah, therefore I don't know. I mean, as much.
Because the reason I ask is you said that we don't have time, right? I mean,
so I think we should just loosen up a few things, because capital is, I see many industries who are starved still of capital.
Yeah,
and it's not that...
We speak to companies and they say, I mean, 80% of our orders are coming from the government for the last 12, 18 months now. I mean, and they don't see anything changing. So if the government shrinks rather than expands, it's bad for the industry. I mean, more and more corporate voices are saying that now.
So government should expand in terms of investment. Also, I think what they are emphasizing on governance in institutions which are run by by government, or that should improve. I think that's very important. I mean, look at what some of the banks that are in the public sector, the NPAs are like north of 20%. You can't have that and survive. So we need to look at these fundamental things which have never been addressed for so many decades. I think we need to tighten up some of these things.
Which is, I think, hopefully...
I don't know, why do we have a public sector enterprises board? And, you know, there are so many archaic things which we should just...
I'm not sure if a lot of the public sector chiefs here in Davos are going to like that, but I think I think it's being shaken up. Dr. Rajan is...
but let's move on that faster. And how do we attract right quality of talent? And then how do we give them a freedom to operate? That is important.
Mr. Piramal, thanks very much for your time. Great talking to you, sir. Thank you.